Welcome back. In this video we're going to be working on the lower arm. So I'm just rotating around, just looking at everything, just to take a quick look, just to make sure everything's okay. As you can see, so everything's lining up nicely. So just like before, we're going to start off with the cube. I'm just going to hide everything real quick. We'll start off with the cube, and you can see from the reference images, excuse me, this lower arm seems to be consists of three separate components. It's these two cube-like shapes and a third cylindrical shape. So this is what we're going to be working on in this video. So I'll just create the cube now. I'm just going to scale up so it roughly matches the reference image, and I'm going to rotate it now. Actually, I'll just move the bird, it's easier. Excuse me. I'll just 10x remote. So I'm just sliding the birds around to match up to the image. You can see I'm going to have to insert an edge loop because we just don't have enough geometry. So what I've done, so what I'm trying to do here is select the edges and just give it a little bit more roundness to it. Again, I'm just using the lines on the reference image. Tell me how much you should be rounded off by. I'm just doing the same thing on the opposite side, just rounding it off. Just taking a look at it, just making sure everything's okay. I'm just repeating the process on the other side now. I mean, a lot of people say modeling is a monotonous job, but in my opinion, it isn't. I don't consider it to be monotonous. It's basically like I said previously, a puzzle, and that puzzle is for us as modelers to try and recreate a 2D image plane as a 3D representation. So what I've done now is just insert an edge loop. So I did a second edge loop now. So what I'm going to do now is delete these faces here. I'm going to use the polygon tool to fill the holes. So go from one edge to the other. So get a pink preview, just press enter to confirm the command, and then just press the G key to repeat last command. So you notice here I've got a excuse me. See, I have a triangle. So don't worry too much about this, but I will try and resolve it later. I'm just stepping back a bit. Just trying to figure out a better way to get this shape. So what I'm going to do now is add another edge loop. I want to try and keep this as quadratic as possible, even though it's a hard safe subject, but which isn't really going to deform. I'd still rather just keep it as quads. It's not only does it easier, not only does it look better, but it just if you want to take it into sculpting software, whether it's ZBrush or Modbox, it'll handle quads much better than triangles. So that being said, I do the newer versions can handle triangles. I'm just pulling these bits up. So I just want to give it everything a nice even spacing. You always want to keep in the back of your head, um, sorry, in the back of your mind, topology. That's the key thing when modeling is concerned. Try and keep your topology as nice and clean as possible. You don't want to go from areas of high dense geometry to areas with this hard DNA. Just want to make sure everything's nice and evenly spaced out. It's something you want to get into a habit of doing. So you can see how quickly this section of the arms coming along. So I'm just going to show all the components, and I just want to check its proportions with everything else. I'm just going to tweak some more widths. Just going to put them up a bit. Whoops, it's missed one. It's just looking a little too round for my liking, so I just want to tone that down a bit. So I'm just checking it from different angles, making sure we don't have any anomalies. Like I've said previously, you want to make sure you're looking at it from every possible angle. So I just want to give it some thickness. So it's gonna scale up instead. This is the thing about this portion of the tutorial, because we don't have an actual side image to work from, so we're just using our judgment to get something that looks that matches up with everything else. Excuse me. So what I did there was I got rid of the edge loop going across. I'm just add a back now, as I thought I could get save some polys by getting rid of it, but by doing so I lost a lot of the shape, so I just brought it back. So I'm just gonna fix these bits up here. It's looking a little odd, so I'm just gonna straighten them out. I'm just getting out an X. Sorry, Z. We're just doing the same thing I've been doing throughout the entire tutorial, just straightening out edges, so you want everything to be nice and crisp. Just make sure everything has a good proportion. I just want to make sure that's in keeping with everything else. So now we're going to work on this cylindrical bit, like I said before. So I'm just knocking down the subdivisions to about 8 should be okay. This bit's going to be very easy to do. It won't take too much effort. So I'm just hiding everything. So I'm just going to rotate this. First I'm going to scale it down and rotate it. And you can see from the reference that it seems to be it seems to have a couple grooves going horizontally across. So that's what we're gonna have to try and recreate now. I'm just freezing transformations on those two objects. Turn X-ray back on. You can see it's got a couple grooves now running across it, so this is what we're gonna have to recreate. So I'm gonna insert a couple edge loops going horizontally. I think about 6 in total should be fine. I think that's 4 I've added in so far. So I just got rid of the last edge loop. I'm gonna just do one bit at a time. So what I'm doing now is selecting all these faces that go across. So we just had this edge loop selected. Just gonna push it down a bit. I'm gonna select all these faces here and we're gonna extrude in. We want to give it that groove-like look to it. So we're gonna do the same thing for the bottom ones as well. Just want to make sure I have everything selected. You can see I missed a couple here, so I'm just going back and I switched back to a perspective view. Sorry. I'm just selecting the remaining ones. Just making sure I don't have anything else selected. Oops. See, deselected those by mistake. We're just going to extrude in now. Just one extrusion should be it. Should do the trick. Extrude in uniformly. Turn off X-ray mode. Just take a quick look at it. I'm just going to select these little loops and just slide them up. Just ever so slightly. So we'll do the same thing with these bottom loops here. You can see that I'm using MJ poly tools. You can see that's optional if you to use. You don't have to use MJ poly tools. That's just a plugin that I just like using. So it's checking everything, just making sure that it's matching up to the reference image. Just slide these down a bit. And you want to select. I'm selecting all these and I'm sliding these ones up. Excuse me. As you can see, it's just a very simple shape. So what I'm doing, I didn't really like the way the bottom bit was looking, so I'm just going to snap these verts to the corresponding verts. I'm just going to merge them. They weren't really adding anything to the overall shape, so I just get rid of them. Could have just as easy as deleted them, but like I said, there's plenty of ways to do stuff. There we go, we merged everything back together again. We'll just add an edge loop here and create another groove up on top, rather than have one right at the bottom. Like I said, I'm always trying different things. It didn't really take too much time away from me. I mean, we only was taking a couple minutes away. So I was doing the same thing we've been doing before, just scaling in. I'm sorry, extruding in, and just scaling in a bit. I'm just going to select all these loops. Just slide them up. Oops, it's actually zoomed in too much there. I'm just using the rotate tool to straighten everything off. I'm going to have to tweak these verts, you can see here. So just undid a couple of steps and just realized they merged them to the wrong area. I'm just making my way around this merging verts. I'm selecting all the verts and it's going to merge them now. Let's turn on freeze transformation, then delete the history on. You can see what the two main components are. It's got this one the bit on top. We just got to recreate. So just like I did previously, I'm using the same geometry for this. So I'm just gonna select these faces and shift select, and that'll select the ones you want to delete. So you can see now I've got something that conforms to this original shape. So what I'm going to do is just select the face and extrude out to create this new type, this new section. You can see it's looking already it's matching. Had I used a cube to start from scratch, I would have had to do all kinds of shaping to it, but because I used the duplicate of the actual shape, everything conforms right off the bat. You can see just from just a couple of tweaks here, I've already got most of the shape done. There's a couple of bits and pieces that need doing, but those shouldn't take too long. Because you can also see that most of the rounding is done, rounding off is done as well. So I'm just taking a look at it from all angles, making sure it's fine. Just looking at it from the top down view, I'm just going to straighten off this edge here. I'm going to straighten them off again from the side view. That's much better, we've got that crisp edge now. Just make sure I don't have nothing else selected. There we go, it's looking much better. So I'm just scaling in, just like before the step I've been doing from the get-go. I'm just panning around here. I just undid a couple steps. When I straightened off some of the edges, it took some of the roundness away, so I'm just gonna sort of undid those. I'm just gonna select these faces and scale it. Select these both and scale them in a bit, because they were looking a little off. I'm sliding this across a little. I'm gonna turn on X-ray now. I'm just moving these verts across because it's too big a gap. I'm just making sure everything's all looking okay. I'm just going to add a couple edge loops bits here to create these indentations here. So it should be about 6 in total. So I'll just insert them and just use the scale tool to straighten them out. So just another 5 more. There's 5 more edge loops should do the trick. So just number 2. There should be 6 edge loops in total. So 2 edge loops for each indent. Again, just using the scale tool, sorry, to line up all the bits. I'm just sliding these edges up. You can see now we've almost got we're almost there now. And tweak this way a bit. Let's quickly undo those. So I just want to check if those indentations are on the back as well, which they are, so I also know that we'll have to extrude at the back as well. So what we're going to have to do is select these faces and extrude in like we've been doing and all the other parts. I'm just going to select these bits at the bottom and I'm just going to scale out in Z. There we go, it's looking much better. So once again, just panning around, just making sure everything's looking fine. So we're going to select these we're going to select these faces here. Turn off X-ray. I'm just going to extrude. Extrude once and scale in. Scale down in Y. extrude them one more time, and again. So that's 3 extrusions total. You can see how quickly we've got the shape going on. So we're just going to repeat the process on the other side. Selecting the 3 faces again, and we're going to extrude and scale in. So we're going to extrude and scale in. Excuse me. Extrude in. Scale in Y. We're going to extrude in 2 more times now. This once, and last time, twice. Just like before, it's 3 extrusions total. So just turned off wireframe. I just want to check everything, make sure everything's okay. I'm going to check its proportions with everything, with all the other components. Just want to tweak these a bit. I'm just going to scale them in a bit. There we go. So we're going to do that. There we go. Just scale it in uniformly. Just put it slightly to the side a bit. That's much better. I'll tweak some of the bits now. So I'm just checking it, panning around, make sure everything's okay. So I'm going to freeze transformation on all these components here, and also deleting the history. I'm just going to combine all these and just going to duplicate them over to the other side. Going to quickly check to make sure everything's okay. Zoom out and see everything as a whole. So what we need here is it's looking pretty good. So I'll see you in the next video.